Assalamu alaikum and good evening. This is Zishan Isaac with Zishan on air, and we're live with the social media platforms all over the world with the YouTube Live, Facebook Live, and Instagram Live. Welcome you all. We have a lot to cover today. The Memorandum of Understanding, it consists of 14 points, a lot of points, and I'm sharing this on the screen. The very first point is at jeopardy or at risk because of this fighting, continued fighting, and even there are various kinds of reports that we're getting. Even some reports are emerging from Switzerland that the first round of talks happened. However, the second round was supposed to begin after the break. It did not. So there's a lot of confusion out there because even the Strait of Hormuz was closed. And the main reason was that the first point, as you can see on the screen, was about this whole idea of ending war on all fronts. And that included Lebanon and State of Israel. They continue to fight in Lebanon, and they have conquered 600 square kilometer. Imagine this as the entire city of Atlanta or Christchurch, New Zealand. So that is now under the occupation of Israel. And people who are Zionists or those who consider themselves as friend of Israel, they are really looking for allies, as what we heard from J.D. Vance. He slammed, obviously, the Israeli cabinet. And some people are arguing whether that was also part of the plan that internally continue to side with the government, but publicly, be very vocal about it. That's one of the key blueprint from the Saudis, and that's what Saudis do all the time. And people don't recognize, understand when they go and meet the Saudi officials. That's what they do in public. They are very opposed to the Israelis, but in private, they love them. And then when it comes to diplomacy, then obviously they try to play both sides. And they have so much money where they even buy out these op-eds or these articles in major news outlets, even in our country, Wall Street Journal to New York Times, what have you. So that's what's happening right now. We can only hope for peace, but hope is not a strategy. And that's where the key countries in the world who are really looking for peace should step up. But who's going to step up right now? That's where we are. The Islamic Republic of Iran and the United States undertake to respect each other's sovereignty and territorial integrity. Well, as Tulsi Gabbard, when she was the director of national intelligence with 18 agencies that reported to her, she was very vocal that Iran was not a threat to the United States. But this is where we are. We went to war. In fact, Trump administration or President Trump went to war, and now everyone is feeling the pinch, especially at the pump, and with food prices to all the prices associated with the petroleum is up. And anyone who has an iota of brain cell can understand that, except the politicians. And many politicians are even taking money from those who are actually in this fight and literally against humanity. And we'll talk about it a little bit. In fact, some politicians, even in Houston, they rally around various people, especially people of Islamic faith, and people don't even know they're taking money from Miriam Edelson and what have you. You need to do the research. So these are all the points: 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, as you can see here. And one of the points here with the with regards to even $300 billion. Most of the money belongs to Iran, and half of it, which basically were their assets that were frozen all over the banks, all over the world. And then the rest is also sale of oil, which was also frozen because how would you pay them? You would pay them back in US dollars, and then those accounts are frozen. So this is where we are with respect to these 14 points, and it will take 60 days, and who knows what would happen in 60 days. And then the last point, 14, is the final agreement will be approved through a binding resolution of the UN Security Council, which in fact is very comical and a joke, because how many UN Security Councils were actually adhered by Israel or even other countries? Number 14. So I don't know why the government of Iran has so much faith with the UN Security Council that they want this to be a binding resolution. I mean, what's that going to do? So this is again, you don't have to agree with this point of view, but if you are a student of history, you would know what's going on within the historical context and even the record or the track record of the UN Security Council. Trump sought to break Iran's regime. He settled for reopening of Hormuz. Well, we all knew this prior to going into this war, and that's what Iran has been saying for decades, that the moment they are attacked, they will shut down the Strait of Hormuz, because that's a very strategic and tactical point of view of them, and it's very easy for them to shut it down. So then the US obviously put a blockade to a blockade, and here we are. So everyone is like taking all these intransigent positions and being belligerent, and who is at loss? We the consumers, we the Americans, we the people of the world, or we the people. Trump's deal with Iran, and we'll take calls later during the program, so please don't call me at this point. I appreciate it because we're also live all over the world. Trump's deal with Iran is not a win, and that's what many newspapers are also putting it out there, and you can obviously do your research. When JD Vance was asked about the Iranians going to have access to a $300 billion reconstruction fund, true or false, JD Vance said that's the sort of things they could have access to so long as they honor their end of the obligation. That was with CBS Morning, with JD Vance and at the CBS Broadcast Center a few days ago. Disaster, Fox News Trump whisperer torches plan to give Iran $300 billion. Now, this is where the propagandist media is out there to showcase this to the world as if $300 billion are being handed over to them. It's their money, actually. And that's where at least Trump administration is trying to gain some type of credibility here. But since they have lost so much credibility that even when they speak truthfully, very few people believe them. Wall Street Journal had this op-ed or opinion article on Trump stages an Iran retreat. So look at all these newspapers just a few weeks ago. They were all for Trump, and they were all warmongering and for war, and now their tune has changed. So people are not stupid, right? And everyone understands what's going on. That's why they are getting their news from social media. And if you have not subscribed my YouTube channel, please do. Here is another article from Newsweek. Trump blasted a newspaper owned by top donor. And who's this top donor? I'll talk about it. You betrayed us. That's what the main headline in this newspaper, a colossal mistake, quote unquote. A billionaire owned paper accused Trump of making a colossal mistake. Now, who is this billionaire owner? Who is Miriam Adelson? First of all, she has given a lot of money to Democrats. And I'm not even talking about Republicans. I'm going to talk about Democrats. Many Democrats said they would return the money, but there are some Democrats, they are not even returning the money. She owns a PAC as well, and you can look it up. And this is where she is. Who is Miriam Adelson? Adelson is a widow of Las Vegas Sands founder Sheldon Adelson, with an estimated net worth of about 41.6 billion with a B, making her the 42nd richest person in the world. Forbes named her the 8th wealthiest woman in the world last year. And her priorities are very straight. Her priorities obviously is for Israel. And she donates money, and it's her money. She can do whatever she wants to do. But that's where we are. And here is the op-ed. Zakan accused Trump of reversing course after initially joining Israel in military action against Tehran, a conflict Zakan described as, quote, one of the most just wars in human history, unquote. Go and ask Zakan why consider that as a just war, but that's his opinion, because many Jews and even Jewish Voices of Peace, they are not for this war. So if Israel speaks for all the Jews, Jews are divided at this point as well. And obviously people of other faiths, Christians, Muslims, Hindus, Buddhists, what have you, or even atheists, whoever is on the side of humanity, they can see it very clearly what's happening right now. So let's put it that way. And then the Newsweek obviously has this another piece headline, you could have been the greatest president of all, but you failed. That's what Zakan wrote. And that was sold to President Trump as well, that you attacked Iran, within 24 hours, their regime would collapse and you will become a hero for decades, right? But guess what? That didn't happen. And that's why Trump had to retreat and had to go back and had to negotiate with this regime and with Iran. Whether you like them, you don't like them. There are many regimes in the world that people don't like, but that's the world we live in. It's not that, we're going to like everything in this world, right? So that's where we are. So Look it up on Edelson and look it up who Edelson supports. That's all I'm going to say. And politicians who take money from them knowingly, they are not only just hypocrites, but they are the enemies of humanity. That's what the word on Main Street is. So don't just take my word for it. I am here to report. I report, you decide. So don't shoot the messenger. Don't attack me. Attack these politicians who are taking money from them. And there are many people of all different faiths, including Muslim faith, Jews, politicians who are from Judaism, even Christianity, or even those who do not practice any faith, they take money from her. So they need to explain that to their constituents, and the constituents need to ask them. And they are under a lot of pressure. They already know who they are. I don't know how they can look themselves in the mirror, but many politicians, in fact, 99.9% of them are corrupt. That's why people don't believe politicians, and people are sick and tired of politicians. Giorgia Meloni, she's the PM, and I don't want to read the whole thing, but she said, Italy and I never back. So that's another thing that happened at G7, where this photo op thing that was supposed to happen or not supposed to happen, but Trump said these things about that she was begging, and there she is. She was not begging, and she came out very clearly on that. War in Lebanon casts shadow over renewed Iran-US nuclear talks. We know this. You can read more about it. Wall Street Journal, New York Times, they all have reported about that. The Guardian, Israel, Hezbollah renew ceasefire after deadly flare-up disrupts opening of Iran talks, and long lines of vehicles were seen heading north as residents try to flee. As I said, 600 square kilometer has been occupied by Israel. So they now own that land, and no one can go and liberate it. And that's 600 square kilometer is about the size of Atlanta, Georgia, or Christchurch, New Zealand. This is where one of the generals or spokesperson said, despite the announced ceasefire, the Israeli military said it would continue operating in southern Lebanon because no one can stop them. So that's why let's not beat around the bush. Let's just call it like it is. They are one of the superpowers of the world, and even the superpower United States cannot influence them or pressure them. So they are the superpower. And that's where we need to recognize the superiority or the supreme power of the state of Israel. And I say this just like it is. So don't ask me what's my opinion. I think I'm reporting here, and you need to make up your mind, people who are in policy making, people who are in politics, and those who support them and those who don't support them, or those who stand on the sidelines. That's the role of an objective and independent media should be. Just report like it is. The Lebanese health ministry said 47 people were killed by Israeli strikes. So people are dying as we speak. And then Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, the War Department, is once again restoring freedom to our joint force. We are discarding the mandatory flu vaccine requirement effective immediately. So this has been in place in military since 1945. 95% of military comply to this vaccine rule, and now we will see flus and flu epidemic, or even people getting flu. But guess what? Now the Secretary of War has said this, and you can go and argue with RFK Jr., who is the Secretary of Health. Trump's economic approval rating hits new low, poll finds. No one is surprised here, obviously. And the Washington Post, cyclist arrested at reflecting pool is former Olympian who denies vandalism claims. He said that he never vandalized anything. He didn't destroy or break anything or pool. And I paraphrase him, and this is the picture he took, and he was actually handcuffed. And there were some vandalism incidents before, but that's where we are in Washington, D.C., where people cannot even take a picture. So at this point, I would like to thank our key advertisers and sponsors. Because of these sponsors, we are able to report to you like it is, truthfully, with facts. Affordable Insurance of Texas. If you are looking for auto insurance, commercial insurance, business insurance, health insurance, and homeowners insurance, contact them. And especially if you bundle homeowners insurance with auto insurance, you will save hundreds and thousands of dollars. And just call them. Within few minutes, you will see the difference in your monthly premiums going down. Their number is 737-854-4000. They have been in business for decades, and we thank them for being our sponsor and a great advertiser. So call 737-854-4000, and on the web they are on www.aitinsurance.com. www.aitinsurance.com. They have been in business for decades. They have many locations in Houston, Greater Houston area, and even in Texas in various cities. credible, and they have integrity. Call them 713-785-4000 to get your quote today. And for auto insurance, homeowners insurance, all kinds of insurance, 713-785-4000, and their number is 713-785-4000 on the internet, www.aitinsurance.com. Another key advertiser and a sponsor, I would like to thank them, and they're doing great. They have shipments coming up. I was talking to the owners, and in the next 1 to 2 weeks, more shipments are coming from Asia and South Asia. Group Saudi Palace, they have all these traditional dresses and evening gowns for men, women, for grooms, brides, for children of all age groups. They have men's showroom as well, but the huge women's showroom that's one of a kind in the entire continental US. And call them 832-267-0065 to schedule a virtual video tour. 832-267-0065. Group Saudi Palace, one of our great advertiser, and call them, support them, and buy all these beautiful and classy dresses for men and women at Group Saudi Palace. Chennai, Texas, Chennai Restaurant Catering, they have many specials, even lunch buffet specials. And right now, they're having some great specials with regards to the month of Muharram. And here they have these special deals, and there are a lot of items from Halim, only 429 for 50 to 100 order, for 100 to 150 people, only 399. There are party trays starting from 60, 70, $80. So take advantage of these Muharram specials. And also Karachi bun kebab. They have this bun kebab, fries, and soda only for 9.99, only under $10, 9.99 plus tax. So just about $10, or so, and you can get French fries, a beverage, and this bun kebab, which is like a burger, but it's a very different kind of a taste. You will enjoy it. That's Karachi bun kebab, fries, and soda for only $9.99 or $10 plus tax. So take advantage of this as well. And for vegetarian, $12.99, buffet Monday to Friday, non-veg $14.99, takeout buffet $7.99 per pound, 30 plus items. And for catering and for party trays, call them 739531388, 739531388. With that, I'm signing off with the social media, continuing with Legacy Media, and stay tuned for Big Baller Sports. Thanks.